Hey guys, so for this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about drinking water quality from your tap and different water filtration systems that could really help you increase your overall health by drinking good, clean water. So to start just by thinking, we did a talk earlier that talked about drinking out of water bottles, but I guess really the alternative would be drinking from your faucet or from your refrigerator, and just really wanted to go over if this is safe or not. So when we look at drinking water that's coming just out of our tap, this water is typically regulated by the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency. What they do is they actually set certain parameters in order to make sure that our water quality is what they consider safe. However, I just want to go into this a little bit further because honestly, what the EPA typically puts out there for safe regulatory levels of different contaminants that can be within our water truly is not the best for our health. So let's kind of go over what some of this typically could be. So when we look at our drinking water, many of our water quality that we are receiving does have a lot of contaminants. So what can happen is our water that is going into our tap, yes, it looks clear, it might look safe. However, there are oftentimes a lot of different chemicals and additives that can get in our water. The EPA itself actually says that within our water, it could actually have different types of sewage releases that could get in there, meaning that we could get some type of fecal or urinary contaminants within our water quality, which could ultimately manifest different diseases such as E. coli that can happen. I mean, this typically is not the biggest concern when it comes to our water quality here in the United States, because oftentimes different types of agents are added to our water as well, such as chlorine that kills these off. But however, this chlorine, like I'm going to talk about in a minute, also is not the most beneficial to consume as well. There also are some naturally occurring agents that can get in our water as well, such as radon, different fertilizers and pesticides that are runoff from a lot of our farming. What can happen is a lot of these fertilizers and pesticides are sprayed on crops, and what happens then, it actually, once it rains or once they water their crops, all the extra that doesn't go into the plants actually washes off and gets and then absorbs into our water system. And then this could actually be a contaminant that we are later consuming. From here, there's also found to be a lot of different heavy metals in our water, different metals that such as lead, and other agents that really are not beneficial to our health to consume in high quality or high quantities. Last thing, there also can be different septic releases as well from septic systems nearby that could get in our water. From here, though, we also see, besides these different compounds, we see a lot of different organic compounds that may not be the best to our health, such as arsenic, cyanide. These also we find in our water. One of the major ones as well from the pesticide side is glyphosate, which is we know a hugely problematic agent if it gets in our system itself. So once again, however, when we look at these different agents, the EPA puts out different regulatory levels that shows what is a safe amount. So this is up to the EPA, and they say these different levels, if they are within our water, it is a safe to take. However, I really don't think this is the most accurate, because any exposure to these different items that are within our water, we really should not be consuming. So why have these even in our water? There really is no safe level of pesticides, arsenic. I mean, yes, they are going to come in these tiny parts per million or tiny parts per billion quantities. However, these accumulate in our body as well, and over time, I mean, we're drinking water consistently daily, we're getting in our showers, we're just going to be exposed over and over again to these tiny amounts that then add up over time. And eventually, this is where we see different diseases that can manifest as well. So when we look at safer levels, however, another agency that I really like to look at is what's called the EWG, or the Environmental Working Group. They really have an amazing website, and I will put a link in the notes below. And this link is going to show you a way to actually look at the water quality where you live. What you typically can do is you could go to this link and just type in your zip code, and it will show the different additives or chemicals that may have leached into your water system, and really truly show you exactly what the EPA says is safe and then what they say is safe, and you could really see how high above this level your water quality can actually be. So I'm just gonna go check out mine real quick. When I put it in my water quality here in San Diego, I actually found it comes up once I put in my zip code that there's 26 different contaminants within my water. And like I said, it shows you a scale of exactly how much is in of these different contaminants, how much increase they are over what would be a safe level. So what comes up in mine are, radium, it's 22 times higher than the normal value. Bromodichloromethane, which is 157 times the recommended and safe level. And we just see other things like also the TTHMs or the trihalomethanes. This had a 223 times over the health limit that the EWG would say is safe to take. And this is just 4 so far of the different additives or contaminants that are in my water here in San Diego. And San Diego, California, most people would assume, man, my water should be safe, I should be able to drink it, but this really is not truly the case. And this is honestly probably not even the worst. There's a lot of different areas out there in the United States that are going to have a lot other contaminants within the water that are just not healthy to consume on a daily basis or at all even. Why expose yourself to these contaminants if you don't have to? So this is a great resource to go check exactly what is in your water, but this does not solve the problem by just knowing what is in your water. You need to take action in order to have better water quality to drink. So how is this done? So this is where we look into water filtration. There's a lot of different units and ways to filter your water, so I'm going to go over a few of them and what I really like the best myself. So when we look at water, there's really kind of 3 major areas. You have your gravity filtration with heavy filters with them. You have kind of your standard carbon filters, such as like a Brita filter, and then you have something called ROS or reverse osmosis systems. So when we look at these 3, we could kind of go over what are the differences and the benefits of each. So let's first look at the Brita water filter. So like I said, this one typically just uses a single filtration carbon filter. What that means is the water goes through and it filters through carbon. So yes, this is going to be great because it is going to help remove some of these contaminants. However, this is not going to be a sole solution because it's not going to grab all of the contaminants out of your water. It's really good at removing some of the heavy metals or ions, such as like chlorine that can be in there. And yes, it's probably good to remove like chlorine, but like I said, it's not going to remove all of the contaminants. So this is kind of like the most basic intro step. And honestly, I would say just don't even go there. Invest into a little bit better system, because you can get other systems that are going to remove almost all of the contaminants from the water to give you really the best and safest drinking water quality. So what are the other systems? So the next one we look at is like a gravity filtration system that typically is a multi-step system. The one I use personally, and this is what I love, is by Proper or Proper. There's also like the Berkey filter out there that's conventionally really well known for this. And what this does, it's usually a large reservoir on top that filters down and does a multi-step process into a lower reservoir that then is your clean filtered water. The nice part about this is, yes, it does remove almost all the contaminants from your water. However, it does leave in the beneficial electrolytes and minerals within the water that we do want to consume, because we don't want typically just pure water. We do like to have the other electrolytes and minerals that we can receive, but we want to get rid of the contaminants. So this system is a great way of actually filtering your water to end up with this type of product at the end, where it's going to be still rich in minerals and electrolytes. And that's why I choose this system, because for me, I like having all of that in there, and then I also know that I'm going to have good, clean, safe water. The other nice piece is, like mine is a 2-gallon system. They even have bigger or a little bit smaller, but I really like this 2-gallon system because when I fill it up, I have 2 gallons, which allows me to always pretty much have water. It allows me to water all my plants in my house, use it for cooking, use it for drinking, and I don't just run out quickly, which I see often is also a negative of having something like a Brita system or the little pitcher, where you're just kind of filling it up and it empties just so quickly before you could really even get to everything that you're wanting to use the water for. So these gravity filtration systems are really nice and convenient for that as well. And the last systems that we typically look at that are used for water filtration are the ROS, or the reverse osmosis systems. These typically are going to be the highest standard for removing anything from your water, and actually they remove everything from your water. And that's the reason why I don't fully like them, is because ROS, or reverse osmosis, it's going to actually move the water molecules into a separate container or to like a spigot that comes out directly, and it's just pure water. This is great because yes, it's removing all of the contaminants, so you're getting rid of all the pesticides, all the herbicides, you're getting rid of the arsenic, you're getting rid of the radon, you're getting rid of the chlorine and all the other scary contaminants that can be in your water. However, it's also going to remove all of your minerals and ions and electrolytes from your water as well. So you're not going to get the benefit of that and not really have kind of the pH system of water that you typically want in the end. And I mean, you can utilize this. What people typically recommend is adding electrolytes back, so getting some type of like trace mineral supplement that you could add a couple drops into afterwards, maybe squeezing a lemon into this water, and you could help replace this. But I really find myself when you taste this water, it just doesn't taste the same as the naturally occurring electrolytes and minerals that will be in that water itself. So for me, I really like the gravity filtration system, but the ROS, like I said, it's going to be extremely high quality and get rid of the contaminants, which is typically why we're looking at filtering our water. So I hope this information helped. I hope it really makes you realize exactly what is in our water, even though yes, here in the United States, you take it out of the faucet, it looks clear. You assume it's going to be the best, but there are a lot of contaminants in there as well. And then go on to that EWG link to see what is happening in your local water system. And lastly, invest in a high quality water filter. And one last tip that I wanted to recommend, I do this for my drinking water, but I also put a ProPure water filter in my shower as well. It directly connects right before the shower head, really easy to install, but also eliminates any of these contaminants that could be absorbed through my skin as I'm showering or bathing daily. So if you have any other questions, leave them in the notes, and I'll hopefully make a follow-up video to help answer any of those for you. Thank you.